Michael here to give you the latest on what's going on out there in the weather community. I hope everybody's having a great Wednesday so far. Let's get right into it with this weather. As you can see on your map across the eastern United States, we have a heat dome that is in effect. Extreme heat warnings and heat advisories are in effect. They go all the way from the Midwest to the deep south, all the way to New England, upstate New York, Maine, all the way there to near Canada. Heat advisories are in effect. If you can see those purple colors there, those are the extreme heat warnings. Those red ones, extreme heat watches, and those orange ones that you see the majority of there along with the purple are those heat advisories. So let's get right into it. Temperatures are going to be very hot. Temperatures as high as 105 in some regions. Some regions probably, those are the heat indexes rather. Some real temperatures getting to 100 degrees. Temperatures as high as 110 degrees in heat index values. So it's going to be hot. As you can see, your casual flood advisories there per usual per se. It's the same thing. As usual with these summer type storms, we get those random thunderstorms here and there. And speaking of thunderstorms, we're going to switch to the Storm Prediction Center here just to see what they've got going on out there and things like that. I'm going to go back in just a second. Don't worry, if you're here for the heat and things like that, I'm just going to go back in just a second to show you what that heat is. But let's see what the Storm Prediction Center has for us. Storm Prediction Center today having those areas of the orange in the Midwest, going all the way from near Wisconsin all the way to Michigan, that enhanced risk today. You also have that slight risk that's in the south and the slight risk that's in the eastern part of the country, that's New England, the central part of the country as well, which is Garden City. Now our tornado outlook for today has the hatched area with the 5% chance of tornado in the Midwest. So if you live in areas like La Crosse, south of Minneapolis and east of Sioux Falls, you need to be on lookout for that. As you get towards your wind threat, we have the hatched area that is in effect for Minneapolis, in effect for Green Bay. Now you do have that red intensity for those areas that are more inland, specifically La Crosse and Green Bay areas. Sioux Falls, you're in the yellow just off the edge there with the brown, so 15% and 5%. But it's going to be very dangerous as we get towards La Crosse and Green Bay. Hail threat for today, we're going to be mainly across the Midwest, once again down into the central part of the country. You have your dashed area there. Sioux Falls and La Crosse, you're going to be in that 15% threshold, as well as Garden City. And there is a hatched area in effect with that dashed line, rather, so make sure you're watching out for that level of intensity and hail. As we get into tomorrow, we're going to be seeing some slight risk across the Midwest, the middle part of the country, and well around the Chattanooga and Atlanta metropolitan areas. That's going to be near Asheville as well. For your tornado threat tomorrow, going to be not as high as it is today. That could also change as a matter of fact, but just make sure we're keeping a lookout. As you get into Sioux Falls, you have that green level, that's that 2% chance of tornado. Wind threat for tomorrow, you're going to have that dashed line in the middle part of the country as well as the Midwest. Having that hail threat around Chattanooga and Atlanta, specifically with that 15%. Dashed area near Garden City, even though it's a 5% chance of that happening in that area, just make sure you're watching out there. As far as your hail threat, Sioux Falls, same areas again, middle part of the country. Dashed area and yellow lines that you're going to want to watch out for. As we get into our day 3 outlook, we're going to have a slight risk towards Valentine that is going to be in the middle part of the country. Otherwise, everybody else a marginal risk, and there's going to be a widespread area of showers and thunderstorms that's going to be in effect for July 3rd. That's going to be right before 4th of July. So we have a lot of active weather pattern going on. Let's look at the probabilistic there once again, mainly around Rapid City, like that 15% chance of that probabilistic severe weather. So let's talk about the heat temperatures. The temperatures are getting very hot. We have heat advisories scattered across, but not just the heat advisories. We now have extreme heat warnings. Well, or is that excessive heat warnings? I'm not exactly sure, but I think it's one or the other. But those warnings are scattered across the eastern parts of the country. Like I said, extending from the Midwest all the way down to the South, all the way to New England, the United States. So if you live in the middle part of the country and eastward, you are going to be a part of this heat dome that is moving across the eastern United States. Like I said before, we're going to see this move in shifts, and I'm just going to pull out that heat map for you just to see what's going on. Today we have our heat risk, mainly east of Chicago in the Midwestern areas as you get into Ohio. Extreme heat expected for areas like Columbus, Cincinnati, Pittsburgh, and Indianapolis, with those towns in the middle. Nashville, you're under extreme heat, as well as Atlanta and Knoxville. Also, we have major heat that's right now, so if you're living towards the I-95 area, the extreme heat is not necessarily hitting you just yet. But here's a look at tomorrow. On July 2nd, you can expect this heat dome to get larger. Look at the extreme heat moving across I-95 corridor. Is starting to, still not getting any of that heat, but as you go more northern, yes, extreme heat starts to pack a punch there as well. So extreme heat is going to be moving over tomorrow, and then I think Friday, as you can see here, Friday is going to be our worst day. As you can see, extreme heat scattered across the entire east coast of the United States. And look at Saturday right now, same thing. Going to be a lot of extreme temperatures. It looks like I-20 northward is where we're going to have that. Into Sunday, we still have extreme heat. Now it's moving in waves. Now we're well into the I-95 corridor in North Carolina, Virginia, the Delmarva. And then as we get into Monday, same thing, it's sticking around. And as we get into Tuesday, it finally starts to go away. Extreme heat for millions across the United States. And as you can see there on your map, we're having minor and moderate. So there is no little to nones as much as we've had before on the west side. So we're going to start seeing heat across the entire United States, more severe as you get into the Midwest areas. So what you can expect: temperatures up to 105 to 110 in heat indexes. Real temperatures in the hundreds. Yes, real temperatures in the hundreds. We're probably going to have some record-breaking temperatures here. So you do have to be prepared for that. Make sure that you're in a safe area. Well, make sure that you're being safe, rather. Taking those precautions, taking those frequent breaks if you are outside. Make sure that you're staying hydrated. Make sure you use all of the steps to prevent heat exhaustion and heat stroke and things of that nature. Make sure you're being safe. As you can see right here on this map, purples, this is today, ladies and gentlemen, 40.1 million extreme heat that is going to be today. The highest level right here from the National Weather Service. This is the heat risk for today. As you can see, mainly amongst the Midwest, and then in tomorrow it is going to be purples all over the place. And I'm going to zoom in on some of those areas just so you can get familiar and know if your area is included. So that's near Chicago, Milwaukee, Grand Rapids, Detroit, Indianapolis, Columbus, Cincinnati, Pittsburgh, into Louisville, Nashville, Knoxville, Atlanta, I-85 westward. You are going to be dealing with that heat tomorrow. On July 3rd, you're going to be having your extreme heat that's going to be 22.2 million people as we get into the Delmarva. Look at the Delmarva, almost completely purple with extreme heat. Millions, and I mean millions of people, 93.2 million by Friday. And for your 4th of July weekend on Independence Day, towards Atlanta, Charlotte, you're starting to get in on that extreme heat. So our hottest day, honestly, is looking like Friday. That's what's going to be the most affected areas. But we're still going to be hot on Saturday, and then the East Coast, we're going to be hot on Sunday as well. So make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. My name is Michael, here to inform you on weather updates. Make sure you like, comment, and also subscribe for more weather updates like this. My name is Michael. I'll see you out there in the weather community.